Hello, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. It's a very, very sad and frustrating news as the third and final game of the Currie Cup this weekend has officially been cancelled. On the back of Griquas versus Bulls being cancelled, with the Bulls having been in Cape Town ready to play against South Africa A, and obviously all the protests and the disruption in Natal saw that the Sharks versus Pumas game cancelled. But Lions versus Cheetahs was, as of yesterday, in fact, as of about an hour ago, still scheduled to go ahead, but it has officially been cancelled as a result of the Cheetahs refusing to travel to play the game in Gauteng. We'll go through some of the details about it and just sort of what we can expect. And the fact that I think the Currie Cup, which I said a couple of weeks ago, I think this could be one of the best Currie Cups we've seen in a long time. And now it's pretty much falling apart in its wake, and it's very frustrating. And look, I mean, there's a lot of reasons that are uncontrolled, and you kind of understand it. But it's for a tournament which is offered so much. It's just sad to sort of see it sort of falling apart at the moment. Before we sort of diverge into exactly what's going on, please do smash like and video, subscribe to the channel as well. So yesterday we had the official announcement: Griquas versus Bulls was cancelled as a result of the Bulls going down to try and help the national cause, and put up a team to play against the SAA. So just as the Lions versus Sharks was cancelled so they could play against the British and Irish Lions, that was why that game was affected. And you can kind of sort of go, I suppose, fair enough. At the end of the day, these sort of structures are all about trying to make do what's best for SA Rugby. And because the Bulls are kind of not stuffed up, but because the Bulls weren't available to play the British and Irish Lions, the Sharks stepped and said we'll play them again. And now SAA need another game. The British and Irish Lions are saying no, so the Bulls were called and they said fine, we'll come to Cape Town, we'll play against you. Cool. We'll do that for the national cause. Then we already had the Bulls versus Cheetahs called off after all the COVID cases within the Cheetahs camp. And then this weekend, the Sharks versus Pumas game was cancelled, which is very, very understandable. It's supposed to be in Durban for a start. You wouldn't be able to move it to Nelspruit because you can't expect those Sharks players to leave their families to try and travel and stuff like that. It's a very difficult situation. You can understand that reasoning completely, 100%. Player welfare comes first. But I think what the frustrating thing is about this situation is that, literally jumping onto the Zoom call to have the press conference, we were supposed to have a team announcement. All of a sudden, Rudolph Straley's there telling us the game's been cancelled, as well as the women's game this weekend. Women were also supposed to play against Cheetahs in the Currie Cup. So, well, in the Premier Division, basically. So basically what happened is that apparently, Rudolph Straley said that the frustration comes in the fact that they trained every single day this week at Emirates Airline Park. He said all the staff have managed to come to work. One of their partners is Fidelity, so they're very aware of what's going on and stuff like that. And they said that Emirates Airline Park was deemed a safe zone. It would have been completely safe for the Cheetahs to have come up. But also, I think that's where the frustration is coming, they then offered, when the Cheetahs said we will not travel to Gauteng, the Lions offered to go to Bloemfontein and said, well, it's fine, we'll come to you and play against you, because they were that determined to get the fixture played. But apparently the Cheetahs then said no, they've already told their players that the game is off, and as a result they can't then go back on their word and tell their players that they need to try and get their head around the fact that they are playing. So I think that's where the frustration is, the fact that the Lions were willing to sort of go to Bloemfontein. Rudolph Straley said that they wanted to go and play in Potch. He would have gone and play at Potch. He said they would have traveled anywhere to try and make sure that this game gets played so they can get game time. Because at the end of the day, you look at from a commercial point of view, Sigma have come in as the Currie Cup sponsor for the Lions. They had one game up against the British and Irish Lions. Game versus Sharks cancelled. Game versus Cheetahs cancelled. That's 2 matches. The sponsors must be really, really frustrated. They must be itching a little bit. I mean, the Lions players must be itching a little bit. They haven't played. I mean, it'll be 3 weeks before they play. From when they played against the Lions to when they officially will play again. They'll play next Wednesday, so it'll be just about 2.5 weeks. So it's very, very frustrating from a coaching point of view, trying to get these players fit, trying to get these players into the best possible condition. All eyes on the United Rugby Championship, which starts in the end of September, and now you're not playing games. So it's very frustrating. You can see Ivan van Rooyen saying, that the players are very gutted, that they just can't wait to get back on the park. They want to get playing games. So in terms of what, Ivan van Rooyen basically said that it's going to be another fitness week, so he says it offers them a chance at that. But that's the current situation. Look, good news for Lions fan. Johnny Lombard is back in training, not taking contact or anything like that, but he's back in training, stuff like that, apparently looking very sharp. But just in terms of the Currie Cup, the integrity's been blown, hasn't it, at the end of the day? No matter what we sort of see in the Currie Cup, it'll always be remembered as the tournament where already 5 games have had to be cancelled. And I think you could sort of get over the 2 games that were affected because of the Lions series, and obviously COVID always plays a part. And very special circumstances this weekend. But this game, I think, hurts a little bit or burns a little bit, because I think it's a game where enough could have been done to have gotten it to have had it played. And look, there's a lot of people saying, should there be rugby at the moment? Should we be worrying about this given what's going on in the country? And the counter argument is, you know what? people are being told to stay at home. People are being told to try and just sort of, stay out of the way and try and remain home, both from a COVID point of view as well as the looting and what's going on in the country. So the general advice has been, please, while you can, stay at home. So given the fact that the entire country is supposed to be at home, I think what we saw last night was it's fantastic to have something to look forward to. It's fantastic, from a mental health point of view, whilst being stuck at home, whilst not being able to go out there and do things, to be able to say, well, you know what, we can watch rugby this weekend, we can watch our team play. Because, there's no PSL, for example, so there's not a lot of sport on at the moment. The Olympics starts next week, so there's not a lot of sport, there's not a lot going on in this country that we can really celebrate. And I think that's why the British and Irish Lions Tour is very important, because it gives people a reason, something to look forward to, something to sort of just say, for 2 hours I can just sit back and I can just try and sort of get myself away from what's going on everywhere, with COVID fatigue, with all the stuff, and just watch a bit of rugby. And I think the Currie Cup was offering a similar sort of escape. But the problem is now, all the cancelled games. The Bulls have now had 2 cancelled games. The Lions have now had 2 cancelled games. The Cheetahs have now had 2 cancelled games. It's difficult, to sort of then say, right, well, it's going to be reflective. And what do you do with points? In my opinion, the Cheetahs will have to have forfeited a bonus point victory here. The fact that the Lions were that keen and were willing to do whatever they could to have that, to make the game go ahead, and the Cheetahs now saying we won't do it. In my opinion, I think they would have to forfeit the points. What we saw in the other games, all teams awarded 4 points, which is why, if you look at the log at the moment, you've got the Pumas sitting on top with 15, Sharks with 15, Greeks with 14, Bulls with 14, Sigma Lions have got 9, Province have got 12, and Cheetahs have got 4. I don't see how the Cheetahs can get me awarded points for this, because it is, you don't want to sort of blame them, but it's their fault. If they're the reason that this game is not taking place, it would have taken place. SA Rugby wanted it to take place, the Lions wanted it to take place, and they refused to sort of come play ball, really. So I think that they'll probably sort of have to forfeit the points, which means that the Lions could go up to, 14 points with only 1 victory, which is weird. How are you getting all those points? But what are you supposed to do as a Sigma Lions team? You're not being given the chance to go out there and play these games. And maybe they could have beaten the SLC Sharks in that game and they could have caught up. So it's very, very frustrating. I think what we'll see is maybe a Currie Cup, which probably isn't a fair reflection of what was going on. The frustrating thing is, as I said, when we've had these games, they've been really, really good. The Greeks have beaten the Western Province. The Pumas have beaten the Lions by a bonus point. There's some really, really good clashes in the Currie Cup so far. The Cheetahs, edging the Pumas. It's been really, really close and well contested, and that's why I was so excited about the Currie Cup, because it really has been a fantastic competition to watch. But now you do start to feel that the integrity has been compromised a little bit. But at the end of the day, what we keep sort of having to remind ourselves is that it's the times we live in. We kind of have to just sort of roll with it. And the hope is that, with an expanding vaccination process and stuff like that, hopefully by the time we get to United Rugby Championship towards the end of the year, or September, but not even really the end of the year, we can just start having a competition which hopefully, touch wood, is not COVID affected. We can hopefully try and start getting fans into stadiums. We can hopefully start working towards a bit of a normality within the country. But that's the current situation. The good news is that at this stage, it looks like the Stormers versus Stormers versus British and Irish Lions is all ahead. We'll have a preview on that coming up probably tomorrow. And then, we'll have the press conferences up. Warren Gatlin's press conference is already up. We'll have John Dobson's up as well. Later this afternoon, we'll do our preview for that game tomorrow. We'll let you know what's happening with the SAA and the Bulls, if they're going to be press conferences and stuff like that. No communication from SA Rugby just yet, but hopefully we'll hear a bit more from them later today. Until then, please smash like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Please do keep safe up there. My name is Steven. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll chat to you soon.